Good morning, this is Miss Schaefer. So we are going to do line drawings on houses. So let's go. To start, we're using a vertical paper and a pencil. I'm using marker because it shows up on the video. We're going to start a line halfway through the paper, but not at the edge. We're going to leave an inch on both sides of the line, so don't go all the way to the end. Now we're going to make 3 lines down. And the side lines are going to be a little bit longer than the center line. So it's kind of like a capital letter E falling on its face. See how the middle line is a little bit shorter than the others. Now the right side area is going to be divided into 3 areas. So we need 2 lines. So go all the way down with your 2 lines, and they're going to kind of end at the same level as the first line down. Now you want to have diagonal lines go down to that middle rectangle. Then you want to draw a line straight across from the left side of that area all the way down. Now make sure it's straight, so you're going to see a little bit of a line down below that. Now what we want to do is do a tiny skinny rectangle all the way across. And this is the first story of the house front porch. Now we're going to do 2 lines down to make a support beam. Then we want to do a bottom line for a door. You don't want to go all the way down for the door because we still have to make the porch. So we're going to have to draw a straight line across at the bottom. So that's the floor of the porch. Now you want to make a window which will look like an E back again, except they're all even lines. And you're going to stick out a small rectangle below it and above it. So it's going to be wider than your window. So we do the same pattern, make a E, go down on all of them. Just set where you want to have your windows. Now the windows on the side are going to be a little bit smaller than the one in the center. And you want to make those borders with rectangles that are a little bit wider than your window. You could do double lines on the side if you would like to show more detail. Now we're going to make the detail on the door. There's 5 geometric shapes. There's 2 rectangles at the top, 2 squares in the middle, and 1 rectangle at the bottom. Now we're going to do, off the porch we have some steps. Anything further away is smaller, so anything closest to us is going to get larger. So you want to stack rectangles on top of each other, and the bottom one is bigger than the top. Do another support beam. Now you're going to go straight across at the bottom and hit the stairs or steps. And we're going to do cross hatching where you're doing diagonal lines. It's kind of like a lattice underneath the house, like to close up the porch area. Now you want to do diagonal lines off of this to make it bow out, and you're going to curve it in on both sides. Now before you finish the top, you need to figure out where the center is. And then go straight up and put a dot. And then you're going to connect it. And you're going to go past that curved line just a little bit. Now make a flat, like an even, like the land, line, and then you're going to go back up to another dot to make your line. So it's going to be a double line for the roof. You can use a ruler. I didn't, just to show you that it can be done without it, but it might help you to use a ruler. Now we're going to do another window where we make an E. Remember, the rectangles are a little bit wider at the top and the bottom. And if you want to do double lines on the side, that's okay. Now from the left side, you want to make a horizontal line a little past where the supporting beam is. And you want to match the roof line with that front triangle, but don't go all the way up. So you want to do another one that's a little higher than the last one because it's another little roof attic window that pops up. And now when you cross over, it will hit the top, and you see how it's a little bit taller. Box in the bottom. You're going to start doing your letter E for another window, making the rectangles bigger or wider. Now you're going to do a chimney, so you need a rectangle that's a little bit below that line and cross it off. And of course you're going to do another small rectangle wider. So I like to draw the line straight across, and then we're going to just darken the roof line a little bit. Do another really tiny line close to it. It gives a small amount of detail that's really interesting. Now, for whatever reason, on the right side, it's higher up. The roof line's higher up and then goes straight down. So now we're going to do a front gate. I do a U, and then I rainbow it on the sides. And then I draw a line down and connect it. On the fence, I don't ever like to draw a rectangle right off, except for the one that's hold the gate. So everything after this, just do double lines and count 1, 2, 1, 2 until you get to the end. And that way you know that you're going to be able to make a triangle point at the top, and it'll end up even. So you keep going on both sides. And when you get to the end, you can cap off the top with a letter A or upside down V, just kind of that triangle look. The bottom of it I'm not too worried about because that could be covered with grass. It can be a little uneven at the bottom of each plank. Now this is the tricky part. You have to make an equal sign between each plank. Oh, if you're doing the bottom row, look up to make sure it's on the right area so that you're getting it the correct way. If it's equal at the top, it's equal at the bottom, and that makes the wood behind the other wood fence. Now what we're going to do is brick, and it goes straight across, but then you have to go unevenly. Every other one go straight, and then just kind of go left and right every other one. Now this area is one of my favorites. It does take some concentration a bit. You start with the letter U at the top, and then at the bottom of the center of the U, you are going to move it over to the left and to the right so it looks like scales. But that's how I start it, is I start at the bottom of a U and then move it to the left and one to the right so that I can remember how to do it. Because if you just do the bubbles, you could be doing it at the same wavelength and it ends up looking like water waves. So be careful about that. It does take a little bit of practice and time, but it ends up looking really great. Good art takes time. Now here I'm going to make really skinny double lines on the top of this rectangle and the bottom of the rectangle. Then I'm going to make little two lines together all the way across. So it's kind of like wood bars in between. Now I'm going to do roof lines straight across, horizontal lines, and you don't have to make them pressed hard or dark. They're just to show the roof line. On both sides. So we have a gate or fence in the foreground, the house is in the middle ground, and now we need a grass line in the background. So we could add trees, add mountains in the background, color it, make it the up house, or you cannot color it and continue. So for the season, we might want to make a little bit of spider webs and a few creepy things. So if you continue, you make lines, radial lines coming out from one point, and you curve your lines like a U. You can add spiders, or even in the windows you could make broken glass, but maybe it will look like teeth. So you want to make canines taller at the edge and then the shorter teeth in between. And then darken the window so it looks like it's really dark in there, or maybe like it's the inside of a mouth. I'm adding a little squiggly line around to make a little ghost popping out behind the door. I'm adding another one with the arms up around the chimney. And I'm adding some pumpkins on my path to the front of the door. Remember to make your path a little wider once it comes to the gate. So you can add a little bat, make a circle head, some triangle ears, and then you want to make his wings diagonal lines up and then down. And at the bottom, you want to use an umbrella bottom, kind of like 3 rainbows that arch. And then, of course, you want to make his little body. Don't forget to add a pumpkin in the window. So you want to add a few more details to the house and add a few things to the background, like a tree maybe, showing its roots and all the branches, or a crescent moon and some stars. Don't forget to make it a shade lighter around your star and your moon so it looks like it's glowing. You can add owls and spiders hanging down from a web. You can add shadows that have a light side on the left and the right, like the tree has a reflection light of the moon. So just remember that you can add all the little details in. Use colors that are specific for this picture and not as bright as the up house. And I hope you have a great time coloring it with all the purples and blues and orange pumpkins. I hope you have fun with all the detail.